Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Johnny, I'm an engineer, I am in tech and I'd like you to be in tech as well. That's why I'm doing videos and streams to help you upskill, increase your toolkit, your career skills and all of that. And I've been away for a little bit, I've been on vacation, I've been having the time of my life, it's been great. But I have missed doing code. I have done some code this week. But it was all React, so it was fun, but not as fun as Svelte, which we're gonna do today. So today's episode, or today's stream, doesn't have a rough agenda, but does have an agenda. As always, I ask the community, I ask you what you'd like to see, and then we actually get to it. We start doing an investigatory episode. This is probably what we should be calling this. And then if I find interesting things, if I can explain what we've done well, if there is community outreach to say, oh, you should totally do a video on this, then I do an edited streamlined video. And today it seems my second display doesn't want to play all that well, so hopefully I won't be using it that much, but turning it off and back on again does work. That's a career upskill top nugget there. Tell people to turn things off and back on again, and it may just work. So let's move on to the screen sharing bit and my face in the corner to have a look at the agenda today. Today we'll be doing SvelteKit with Stripe subscriptions. I've been asked to do Stripe with Next.js as well and SvelteKit, and we'll probably be able to do a rudimentary payment solution, a subscription solution with Stripe with no code or almost no code, regardless of the framework that we're going to be using. We'll use SvelteKit today, but even without SvelteKit, you can actually get quite far with Stripe. You can actually collect payments, you can actually manage subscriptions just with Stripe, which is pretty good. I remember decades ago when I was starting out, I did a lot of e-commerce sites, and when Stripe started being a thing, I loved it. I wanted to use it but couldn't because most of my e-commerce sites, and I was operating out of Greece, so I needed to be on their mailing list to let me know when it's going to be available in my area and not US or UK or wherever they launched first. But eventually I did make it to the UK and outside of Greece and many places around the world to code, and I did use Stripe and I've been delighted with it from the very first time, and they've only been increasing the functionality and the things you can do with it. So yeah, Stripe, pretty good. Who knew? Only worth $1 billion. So we will attempt their no-code solution, Stripe's no-code solution, to create a subscription product. We will put some rudimentary UI in the free. So I'm here in Teleum UI, which has some UI for us that we can copy paste and use in our products or use for inspiration. That's what I usually do. I just use things for inspiration. And we're gonna have a free tier, a best value tier, I guess, and a premium tier for our subscriptions. And that's where we're gonna put the no code link to. I'm hoping that this will make it be a very low code solution that you can have on your own site and integrate quite nicely. And then we'll try to increase the complexity yet again, use it in what Stripe calls checkout sessions. I think we're gonna need to embed a Stripe iframe in there. So you'll click here and we'll open an iframe, open a pop-up. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something to make it medium code, I suppose. And then we're gonna use Stripe elements to make it even more custom. So that's my rough plan. I have some more items here to check off, like how do you handle environment variables and that sort of thing. And in the end, how to handle webhooks, because it's all well and good when people will be able to click on a button, they pay, but then a month later you want to get the next payment. How do you stop giving them the thing that you're giving them with their subscriptions? We may get that far, but I will add a poll soon to ask how far do you think we're gonna get, or we'll see. So hello in the chat. I know that we don't have a busy chat, but I appreciate each and everyone. So Kvetoslav, I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. I know I have troubles pronouncing my own name, so don't take it personally. Great to see you there. So where are we gonna be adding subscriptions to? We've had this TechieCat website for a while. It's for demo purposes, but also a real app. It's where I put the latest ideas that I have, and then you can read them and make your own startup based of it, make your own product based of them. There are lots of people that are very cagey with their ideas, they don't want to share, and I firmly believe that you should share your ideas. No one is gonna leapfrog you and steal your idea or whatever. Implementing anything takes a lot of hard work. If someone gets your idea and manages to implement it for you, you were never gonna do it anyway. So yeah, share your ideas for free. That's what this site is about. May help you do a creative project on the side and then add it to your CV, who knows. But we have a login functionality where you can create a free account with your email, and then you are able to star ideas. So you can select your favorites. You can say, oh, I like this one, and then you can see it somewhere. Maybe there will be some stats related to that. I don't really know. But the idea is now that we'll have a few more tiers. We'll have the contributor tier, which I am. So I can go to the dashboard and I can create new ideas. We did this live on stream last episode, I believe. But now anyone on that subscription tier should be able to get the dashboard and create new ideas for themselves, and then have an even more special tier where maybe the people that are in that premium contributor tier, they get their ideas on the front page or something like that. There are many things you could do. You could say that if you're a regular contributor, you can submit one idea per day, if not unlimited, but it doesn't really matter. Again, this isn't a way to make money, I guess. I don't think that the tiers that we'll put here is gonna make this a groundbreaking Proton Hunt app. This is mostly for fun and for learning and teaching purposes. So I want to create a realistic looking app for you that I can open source, put it out. The code is always available on my GitHub, so check out the links there. And a realistic problem is I want to take payments, I want to manage subscriptions. We're gonna implement with Stripe and solve that real problem. Now, this app, will it give you real value? Will it be worth like $5 a month? Probably not, let's face it. But if you want to support me, like, I make no money out of this, so feel free to knock yourselves out. All right, so I will set up my focus noodle timer for 25 minutes, because when I'm too focused on a problem, I start rambling and doing more ums than usual, and we don't want that. So, first timer, I think, is set. Yes, awesome. Now the question is, let me remove it from silent mode as well. Now, what we want to do is explain what we're doing. We're going to implement not code with payment links. So we won't actually be going to the code just yet, I don't think. What we'll be doing is I do have an account with Stripe and I've turned it to test mode. And in here, there is a product section where you can add your products, which is probably all that we'll need. So I've thought a little bit about how we're going to call these tiers. And I think we're going with Alluring Alicat. That's a free tier, so not an actual product. I suspect that you're able to do this with Stripe as well, like have free things here. And then the Hustling Housecut is going to be the contributor tier, and then the parent pedigree is going to be the high premium tier. Hey, beginner programmer, just joined. You're asking about showing your workflow process. I think that I've made videos on that and I've showed them on stream, but if you want to learn something specific, please let me know. There are many things in my workflow. Sometimes it's like Figma, I make some mockups and I make some designs to kind of follow. Sometimes I have a designer create these for me, especially when I work for a big company. A designer will hand me over something in Figma. And then I'll try to break these down into components in my head, potentially write the test first, end-to-end tests first, and then go to the code and say, all right, I need to implement this card, this simplest thing first. But workflow is a big subject, so let me know and I'll be happy to explain. For now, with the no-code solution, the idea is we're gonna straight in the Stripe dashboard, add some products. So we said that this is the free tier, we wanted it here. Yeah, so at the start of the stream, I did go over the agenda for the day, but we'll go over it again as we hit some breakpoints, so no worries there. So the first product is not going to be the free product, it's going to be the Hustling Housecut product. And we're gonna upload this. I wonder if I can drag and drop this. And of course I can, because Stripe is awesome. This episode not sponsored by Stripe, by the way, I just like it. And sometimes create competing products, but that's by the by. Pricing details. So this is the classic one. Pricing model can be standard pricing. This costs $10. You buy it, you get it for life. But nowadays, everyone is doing recurring. Oh, I guess the one-time one. Stripe knows that everyone is doing recurring purchases now, so the default is recurring now. That's kind of fun to see. But yeah, everything's a subscription nowadays. Lots of people don't like it, but in reality, it makes money, so what can you do? And we can decide on a price here. This is on a test account, but if this makes it to live, it's not gonna be on test mode, so it won't have the test data flag. If you go through the flow, you are gonna give me money, so watch out for that. I'd be happy to refund, I suppose, but only play around if you really want to like waste £2 or support. So we're gonna do like 5. I think that the higher this number is, the less likely someone's gonna do it by mistake. And bill every month, not metered usage. ID. We can just generate this. Additional options, not really. Free trial, we ain't gonna do that. Cool, so first product, we click here and it's live. Let's create our second product, which is the pairing pedigree. I think this is the worst picture, which is bad, because you want the best product to have the cutest picture or the best icon, for sure. So if you have better names for these tiers, please let me know. So with push notifications. So standard pricing. I guess you can do some tricks here where you can say, oh, actually, if you buy this per year, then you get a discount or something. But to make this 20, like even more traces, probably. 15, 19, 99, and 95. Why not? Just to show off that we have the rounding, the formatting thing done well. Add another price. I guess that's where you'd go to add the yearly best value. Buy it now for a year and you get a bit off. All right, we don't want this for now. Save the product. We have 2 products now. And how can we create payment links? I guess in here, there it is. Create payment link. It's got the icon and everything. So the quantity should only be 1. Can you change this? Because it's a subscription, right? Ah, you cannot. Right, cool. So only if you click, then the users can do this. Hey Anoop, nice to see you. Nice to see you made it. Thanks for accommodating my schedule. What we're doing is creating some Stripe products here, and we're gonna allow for payment links that we're gonna send to people, and then our product is live. You don't even need a website, you don't need anything. We don't want any of these. We assume that people that actually go through that link, we have their email. Hey, it's my name. You can also redirect us here. This is quite interesting. We'll keep that in mind. But for now, let's keep it like this. Payment link, keep that in mind. Let's do the cheaper one. Take a video to see my typing speed, and it's bad at its best, but we'll get there in just a moment, because we will add this to our website. It's not that impressive. I do lose at the type racer and that sort of thing. So we've created a link. The idea is if I open this in an incognito window, I guess, already I can send this to people's emails if they are in my mailing list or whatever, and I can get payments. So you need to add your email here. I wonder if we can pre-fill this somehow. We may need to read the instructions over there. But it's looking pretty good. So let's say I had a mailing list. I was gonna say, hey, do I have this product or I have this course, which I will not, because my courses are free videos. But you can email this and then you're done. You don't need a website, you don't need nothing. But we do have a website, we do have this. So let's add a section for support or pricing or plans. Call it something, and then add these payment links in there. So this is it. This is the time to type. Done. So the way you add more routes in SvelteKit, in routes, you add a new route. So if we want this to be the support page, I'm just thinking about that. Can we copy, which page can we copy the most? Maybe the about page. So we can copy paste the about page, call it support. Just to make it clearer that this isn't a real product. I don't expect you to get a positive value ratio out of your investment here. And we'll think about what goes here. But now if we manually go to support, we should see this, but we don't want people to randomly go to support. We want them to be able to navigate there. So let's go to our header. And I guess after, maybe before the about, have the support link. And with that, you can actually navigate to the support page. I've never done a video, and you're asking about the typing speed. I've never done a video where type racing we're doing typing speed, but I do live coding in a lot of the videos. So pick the one you like best, maybe the hamburger one or the Svelte carousel, and then there's going to be a section where I frantically type. Or the Vitest one, actually. The Vitest one I do type a few times. But maybe hang on, because we are going to actually start typing here. But prepare to be underwhelmed. So, with Tailwind we have this thing, which I'd want to base our marketing page on. Let's see how it looks. I wish I could open only the one I like from the Tailwind examples. When I like one, I just want to see this. So regular cards, it has like a little selling point here and then the 3 cards, and you can select whichever one you want. Anup asks, when should we use prefetch for links in the SvelteKit? And that's for links that you suspect are gonna take a little while to load, so you'd want to pretend. So if you're kinda certain that the user is gonna press, but the response, the time to render that page is gonna take a while, it may be a good idea to prefetch it. So when they click, it will actually be instant. Like these 2 pages, you can see even if I'm not prefetching, it goes quite fast. But if it's gonna be on a page that needs quite a lot of work, like this is gonna fetch some ideas, then you can prefetch it and it's gonna be much faster, that first load. But still, that's something to benchmark. So if you navigate your site and you click on a link and it's like, this is taking too long, maybe add a prefetch over there. If it's not going to be something that's going to be used a lot, then your user is going to be downloading data that it's not going to need. So keep that in mind. I would err on not prefetching anything more than prefetching everything, I guess. Cool. So pricing pages. I am trying to understand whether I like this model. I kind of like it. I don't know the marketing copy that we're gonna use here, but we're gonna do it. So let's see what Tailwind is doing over there. We can select and see the HTML code. I suspect it's not going to be something too crazy. Text. Do we want text? Probably. Everyone loves text. Excuse the silence as I try to understand what this is about. Where is the contact sales? It's all the way over here. Let's see. So let's freelancer. Let's find that. Tiers. There you go. So they're not list items, or are they? They are. Great. The features are list items, not the cards. Interesting. Maybe both of them could be. We're gonna paste that in here and see what that gets us. not too bad. So why is this one a bit thicker? From the design it should be the same, so I suppose they're adding some classes to their big container. Or did I not add this? I think I did. Looks like it's the same. All right, we're just gonna get the one card and try to make it up to our style. So I am following my own advice from the Tailwind video, and I'm not using the default color palette. I've given my color palette primary and secondary colors. So wherever this is doing, I have added the grays, but don't they have accent color somewhere? Let's see again. Yes, here on the button and on the text. And that's a great question. We're 7 minutes away from the next break, so I'll get to it there because it is a big question. Right, so here where it's doing rows, I think we'll want to do primary. Wherever it's doing rows, if we just do primary, it will look better. And because primary is actually defined, rows is not defined on this app. And for a background, our card has this background, which makes it look kind of nice, I guess. But let's make it borderless. And I've created a Easy Surface 1, I believe, color. Let's confirm. Yeah, I have a Surface 1 and Surface 2 color, which I like using because that makes it easier to switch between dark mode and light mode. But of course we cannot see anything now because we also want to use our copy color instead of white. So where it's doing text gray, we actually want to use text copy base, I guess. And that would be muted. And then again, that would also be muted. And you can see that this works just fine on both light and dark modes. The only eyesore is the border. So what's that border about? I'll keep this. Is that the only border we have? this thing. Don't want this. Don't want this either. Maybe surface 2 will make it stand out a bit more. Just very subtle here. But what kind of shadows do I have? Shadow 1 and 2. Did I make it up? It's gotta be shadow. Alright, very subtle on this mode. Still something. And do we need... I think we do need a border. But let's make it... some color. That seems to be appropriate. All right, not a designer. I think this looks distant. Cap 2, that's interesting. So, this tier is gonna be the luring alley cat tier. And if they are gonna all be the same, seems like it's all of this. Seems about right. We can extract this into a component. Support tier card.svelte, which can be this. All right, the timer is here, so let's just make this compile. Is it too many? Too many divs. So I think we're one div short now. And now we can use the support tier card. And then we'll add like 2 more in the next section. But for now, this thing came off, so I can switch back to my big face mode and take a sip of coffee and focus on the chat. Right. So, N asks, I want to make an app or website like Khan Academy alone. What skills I need? Well, we have, I do have videos where I make this app called With Svelte, which has like some learning content for people to read, which I'd say is the start And that's really like front end or maybe full stack, but mostly JavaScript, TypeScript skills, and some talent or willingness to write and keep writing, I suppose, finding the time to keep these up to date and write this. So if you know SvelteKit, you can create something like this. If you know Next.js, you can create something like this and have lots of fun doing it. Khan Academy, if you don't know, is a huge app that does so many things. Both of these apps, TechieCat and with Svelte, has the fundamentals in that it has content and it has user accounts. That's something. That's what every app needs. But this one also has embedded videos and interactive content. I guess it has sandboxes. But I think if you use something like StackBlitz or Code Sandbox and YouTube, so if you have your coding examples in StackBlitz or Code Sandbox, one of the two, if you have your videos on YouTube and you have your content saved in Markdown or somewhere else, I'd say that you will not create Khan Academy, but you'll create something that can be like a learning platform for your users. And you can even add the subscriptions if you really want them. But the Khan Academy has lots of other things like leveling up the users, giving experience to the users. I guess maybe important to say that I'm using Supabase for this app. You can see that the users have roles in them here, and I'm the only contributor. The idea is when you actually visit the payment link, then you'll be upgraded to a different tier and you'll be able to do more things in the app. So if you're able to use Supabase as well, that could be something that could help you create your own Khan Academy or course platform. So a new task, do I design and add the functionality simultaneously? And it depends on the functionality. Usually I'll think about the functionality because someone requests me to do something. How about it does this? And then in my head, I will try to think how it would look. Very often I will go to Tailwind CSS or Tailwind UI. Tailwind UI is a paid product, so keep that in mind. Watch out for that. I'll go there for inspiration. I'll go visit other similar websites, and then I will probably try to do it live and design on the fly. I'm not as good at Figma as I am at making code, I suppose. So for me, it's a bit faster to do it live than to design it as nice Figma components. But if you work with a team of great designers, which I have in the past, they are wizards at Figma. So what I love is that they create everything in Figma, and then I know that, I'm gonna take these components from Figma and implement them in the code afterwards. So if I can get away with it, someone else designs it for me. If I have to design it, I usually have something in my mind and really design it live afterwards. So back to this. We did do the no code with payment links, believe it or not. Now you can visit any one of those links and you can buy a subscription. We are on test mode, so if you actually copy paste this, which you shouldn't, at least you're not gonna give me money, but you can go through the flow there. And next, we are doing the free, better, best pricing section. So we're gonna have 3 cards on the website. Clicking on any of these would go to the payment links. I guess not the first one. The first one is gonna be free tier, so not actually gonna be a payment link. It would go nothing. If you don't have an account, it would go to the login page so you can sign up, because that's what we want for the free tier signups. Second tier, payment link. Third tier, also payment link. And I suppose there should be a check to see what level are you on, so you don't subscribe again. But maybe that's a future Johnny problem. So that's what we're gonna do next, and then we'll worry about how would this sync to our database. So we'll try to have a quick look at that. I mentioned before that we're using Supabase, and I have these profiles here, and in this public profile that doesn't have the user's emails, for example, it does have roles for the users. So how will this thing know that someone went through the flow and does have an improved subscription, how that they are now a contributor or premium member or whatever we're going to call this? So that's something we'll try to solve. Have the question mark here because I don't know if we'll actually do it at this stage. Then we're going to use checkout sessions to embed something from Stripe to go through the flow and have it be a bit more inside their app, match our brand a bit more. And then we're actually going to bring in Stripe itself, the Stripe NPM library, or the Stripe JavaScript library published on NPM, and add some environment variables and do it custom code style with Stripe elements. The template for the emails. Bjorn asks that you saw the magic link. Do I have a template for the emails to best avoid going to spam? So I don't think it's that much the content, because if you're using Firebase or if you're using Superbase, I think they take care of the content to be HTML and text. Usually it's how legit your domain is. So if you can manage to send those emails from a domain that has a high score, then it's less likely that it's gonna land into spam. I think a lot of the emails get sent from like Firebase app.io, which lots of people have sent trash emails, so it has been marked as spam. So it may have a higher rate there. So it's not the template of the email so long as you send HTML and text versions. It's all about the domain that you're sending the emails from. So if you can manage to send that to a more powerful, legit domain that hasn't been flagged as spam, then there is less likelihood it would fall into the spam folder. But always, it's a good idea to put in as a prompt when you actually send the magic email, check your spam folder, because you never know, maybe it's there. Cool. So keep adding cons for magic link login. Well, there aren't many silver bullets in engineering, but I'd say magic links is the one. Magic links for everything. You don't have to worry about users remembering passwords, reusing their passwords, forgetting their passwords, having insecure passwords and getting hacked. Magic links are indeed my favorite method to log in, because everyone is going to be using email. There are security concerns with email, but that's like a bigger subject, and it's never going to go away, or it's not going to go away in the next like 50 years, 20 years. Anyway, email is going to be around. As far as I know, no concern. Maybe the only concern would be that some users would be like, I don't want to give you your email. I don't want to give you my email. And I'd rather sign in with Google or GitHub. And of course, if they sign in through that, you also get their email, but they don't know that. So they feel like they are not creating an account with your site. They're just using a site that they already have an account about. Anyway, sometimes users are unreasonable and they may say, I don't want to create an account with you. I want to log in via Google. That'd be the only drawback, that some people would just refuse to log in via Magic Link. I've seen that happen. But other than that, I think it's a very cool way to do auth. Best one. All right, so let's make this component more flexible. And by this, I mean the support tier card. We don't want all of these to be the same, and one of them should have free pricing. So how would we do that? Let's add a script tag. I think I've done something to autocomplete the language for TypeScript. So let's say we have a price. This isn't React, so I have to do if price and then end if. So if you have a price, so this will disappear. As I said, I've been doing React, so I need to remember how this works. free. Ah, thanks, Bjorn. That's great. That's why I keep the chat open. It's for the great questions and for people who tell me you're not sharing your screen. Always catches me. So thanks for watching out for me. So what I do here, I've added a script tag into our Svelte component, the support tier card here, to allow for a price to be given. If we don't have a price, I'm gonna type out free and maybe like a little emoji. But if I do have a price, then it's gonna say like the price, surely. Should I hard code the pound sign here? Maybe. So we know how much this is gonna cost. Also, it would be interesting to see if we can get the products dynamically here from Stripe itself, instead of us having to say we have 3 products and it's this, this, and this. And that's their price. So, price null, price 5. Is that what we said? I think so. 5 and 19 and 15. Hefty. 1995. Cool, so these are starting to shape up. So what would you call this? Is it like the description, tagline? Description. Then so this is starting to come together. How does it look? Not bad. But I want it to be left aligned. Maybe we can figure it out afterwards. Maybe this is a bit bigger. kind of like it. And now that it seems like we're copy pasting too much, we can actually create a variable with all the tiers that we have. Let's see, products. I like tiers more. So this is going to be an array. Will it have an ID? Maybe. Price. Null. Description. And of course, this should have titles here. Oops, forgot to start my timer. I would never stop if I hadn't. Right, back on the timer. And now, let's see if I remember how to do this. It's here's as price autocomplete fail. Don't actually want this. And then it's just want one of these. And this is gonna magically format it for me. Much better, but I do need to change this to 5 and 1995. Cool. So now it's starting like we have a real app. Now we're doing svelting things up. So first thing, we want the title. It's going to be a string. Title is this. Is it here? Undefined. Nobody wants to see this. A little secret now that I'm really more of a dog person, but I do love cats. And I do sometimes refuse to let things go, meaningless things like the ordering of the properties. Doesn't matter, but I want it to be nice. All right, so what remains are the perks. Features. What do we want to call this? Features. Array of strings. The features, yes, they're gonna be this. I suppose we can find a little tick somewhere else. Well, that's by the by. All right, reaffirm we know how to do the each thing. GitHub Copilot's going crazy. Trying to help. Sure it was correct. Let's try again. We want all of this. And here is just a feature name. So we don't need these anymore. This is crossing because we ain't giving these lists. We ain't giving the features. We ain't passing the features. Gonna make it uncross momentarily. Guess you could stack them if you really wanted. The alley cat. All right, not too bad. Anoop asks what I'm using for auto-completion, and it is indeed GitHub Copilot. This is the icon. I think you can see it. It's not overlaid. It's awesome. You will need to pay for it. Soon enough, I will need to pay for it. But I think it's worth it. It's saving me quite a lot of time, especially for the videos, because usually I prep what I'm gonna be typing out. So maybe Copilot knows what I've typed before and then delete it. So it will autocomplete for me quite a lot of stuff. So yeah, usually it's a huge win. Cool. So we have all of these things. And the question is, what happens when they click the button? Big button. Here there may need to be a check for whether you're logged in or not. For the other ones, let's see. Let's get the payment links, I guess. Got the house cat. Let's get the pedigree. The 8th ref is gonna be so let's see what happens here in localhost. Go to the support page, we see this, we say, oh, we like the house cat. My pocket can support this, can afford this. So I click and make it to pay. Google Pay even. And I will not complete this just yet. there is a page that has all the fake Stripe payment cards you can use to test out different scenarios. It's pretty cool. And we can choose to make this happen in another window, I guess, but I'd rather not. This looks legit. Price looks the same. Pretty good. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Also, I think we have a big link component. Yeah, that doesn't look great. I admit. Not too bad. I dislike putting margin tops, but this thing seems to just love it. All right, what do we do for the alluring alley cat one? This is going to be slightly different. What we really want to do is it just a link? Maybe. So I'm thinking, if I'm not logged in, I want this button to say, to get you to the login screen. So let's see that. So I'm not logged in here. I would want that button to get me to this page to log in, because that's all we want. We could even have that show up as a model. And then you go through the login flow, and then when you go to the support page again, it would be like, you have this. That's what you got. Awesome. So how do we accomplish this? How do we accomplish this? Maybe did I call it role? All right, user role. Let's pass the user role somehow. Let's say user role equals and we can say there is no payment link, else I guess I want this to be in here. There is no payment link. Then maybe if no user role. So if they don't have a user role, then I want them to go to the login page. Free login with email. Cool, but actually my user role is something. So do I get this information? I do get the role of the user already. Awesome. So this may just work. I need to bring in the user store and pass in user role is actually user. Doesn't want to help me. Maybe on this level it will. Just not. Where else am I using the user here? I just want to bring in this from the user store. And can derive user role equals user role. That work? Maybe not. And let's just put in the title the user role here, or can use the user role here. And also put it in the title just to like kind of console log. Right, contributor, awesome. Right, so if you don't have a user role, then free login with email. Final else. Being you already got this. Cool, so I am logged in this window. That's why I see that you already have this. If I were to log out or go in an incognito window, you can see I get the free login with email. Pretty good. If I click this, go through the login flow, like copy is pending. We can do better with this copy. If I just say login with email, would that be enough to keep it in the one line? Yeah, design is now perfect. So, kidding aside, we do have the Rudimentary UI, free, better, best, but we still only have our word for. We'll make it to our profile if you've already got this and you press it. Maybe you want to disable the button. I guess it's a link, so would you have it go nowhere? Don't really know. We can think about this later. Check out how it looks on the other modes. Not bad. Anyway, we click to support on the £5 tier. We get this. What happens if we do put in our email? Can we pre-fill the email here? Can we send them with their email? Maybe not. Maybe yes. I do have their email somewhere, but I don't support it. I don't expose it in the public profile, so that may be a problem. Payment links. Zapier, you can do stuff, blah, blah, blah. You do get their email. Live Googling. Can create payment links programmatically. Can you pre-fill it? Maybe not. Right, so this is the webhook, probably, that we'll need to track. So we're saying that if we go through the flow, we want to do something to sync with our database that this person has actually subscribed and is on a different level now. So let's track this. Great. Any examples? Can I tell it where to where to go? If you're not familiar with webhooks, they are essentially requests. So Stripe will send a request, will hit our endpoint with probably a get or maybe a post to say that I am this event, I'm the checkout session completed event, and have a payload of maybe the user's email. So I can do my magic on the backend and update that they're now on this tier. But I'll need to live read how to handle Stripe webhooks because it's been a while. Right, so this is creating webhooks. We want webhooks. Search for webhook. We'll create the webhook endpoint. That's what we want to do. Stripe CLI can help us test this. You can trigger a webhook like this, I suppose. But where do I set up Stripe to tell it hit this, hit that endpoint? Somehow we'll figure it out. But this would also allow us to handle cancellations, get the place there. We have 2 more minutes. We'll see if we're gonna abort the webhooks for now and move on to the more fun stuff. Just for you to think about and maybe guide me forward. Checkout sessions are a way to do a low-code version of what we've done. We're gonna be adding the Stripe checkout button. And we're gonna do that by bringing in the Stripe library, I guess. Oh, webhooks up there. Maybe that makes even more sense. yeah, we may do this first and then come back to the webhooks, because it feels like they also segue into this, or maybe not. I guess it's the same thing. So it's here that we're gonna say that hit this endpoint. So for development, I don't think we'll be able to say hit localhost, because what's localhost to Stripe? It's nothing, it's not my machine. But in the end, we will be able to say hit this. So I guess, what will we want to hit? Techie.cat. Is it going to be API? I don't really know. So as a reminder, all this site is live, it's real, you can visit it now. It's called techie.cat because I'm now coding out of Catalonia, so I can legitimately get this domain. And we are making up what our API is going to look like, what our routes are going to look like. That's how we created the new support route. We can create backend routes as well. Unlike Next.js, you don't have to prefix them with /API, but it may be a common pattern. However, it's not like the public API here. So maybe we want to be like Webhooks Stripe? I don't really know. Let me know if you've got ideas here. I may do Webhooks Stripe. Main. So I see that they've exposed this here, but it's saying it's test your endpoint locally. So I imagine it's not like the a super secret key, and you can't hack me too bad if I've just licked it. Oh well. So for now, we've done nothing here. Yeah, I think we're gonna build webhooks /Stripe to handle this. We may try it out. We may do webhooks first to sync with our database, or we may move on to do it low-code style. We'll set up some public and secret environment variables, then Stripe elements, which is pretty much like checkout sessions, but a bit more complicated on the UI side, a bit more work for us. And then like we will really need to handle webhooks in order to handle cancellations as well. So when people stop paying, they should be downgraded, I suppose, into the other tier. But my phone has gone off, so I will switch back to my face cam and take a sip and see if there is anything going on in the chat, and then try to remember to switch back to the code as we do more fun stuff. I suspect trying to do the checkout session stuff is gonna be more fun for now and leave the webhooks for later, but webhooks is also pretty fun, let's be honest. And I still didn't catch, is it gonna be a GET request? It's gonna be a POST request. Cool. Cool. All right. Looks like short break this time. I'm gonna set up my focus noodle immediately. I think we've got at least 2 more focus noodles today. I've taken a big break, so I'm excited to do more. So here we can select for events to listen to, and from what we've seen before, we may want that one. Checkout session completed. It's the same one. That's great. So let's set it up on the Stripe dashboard, even if we're not going to handle it. Checkout session completed. And then I guess we'll need to... So it can be a different one. Interesting. So we can have the single handler that will handle all Stripe webhooks, and that may be easier. And then we can do a switch case there and say that, oh, if it's the completed event, then you do this. If it's the other event, then you do that. Does it say anything afterwards? Cancel. So there are quite a few webhooks to handle here. Which is quite interesting. But yeah, this is definitely one of the things where I'll have to look back on my own and then fill you guys in on what events you should actually be caring about. Maybe it's this. Yeah, there are quite a few things to keep track of with subscriptions. So this one, I suppose, first payment succeeded, then months later, payment failed. So you may want to send them the user an email to give them a chance to renew, update their payment method or whatever. You may want to cancel the subscription immediately. But yeah, that's a lot of work, so we're not going to do it today. But can I make this any bigger? Webhooks, Stripe, subscribe. Why not? Right, that's the only one I care about. Guess I can change it afterwards. Webhooks, Stripe, subscribed. And it wants it to be a post handler. So let's create a rudimentary post handler here. Again, with Svelte. In the routes, anything that's not a .svelte route, like a .ts route, can be an endpoint, so it can be used to handle webhooks, for example. And what I've claimed is that I want to handle webhooks, Stripe, subscribed. So if I create inside routes a new webhooks, Stripe, subscribed.ts and export post handler, then this should be the thing that will have the stripe thingies in there, and there should be something that would allow us to confirm that it's actually Stripe that is hitting this with a post request and not something else. Thanks for making it, Anup. It was a pleasure to have you, and I hope the things you'll watch later that we'll continue doing here will also be interesting to you. So, post handler here. We've done more post handlers in the latest video on the SvelteKit endpoints. The bread and butter of web development has been doing well, so have a look at that video if you want to have a look, if you want to understand Svelte endpoints a bit better. It does include stuff like request handlers. So this. This may be enough, we can test it later. So it's claiming that thankfully it has Node as well and I don't have to refresh my Ruby knowledge. It is using an Express server, but that's by the by. It is using the Stripe library as well, which is quite interesting. So if everything goes well, we return at 200. I imagine that somewhere here we use the Stripe library to create the event, and then should I just copy all of this? Probably. I'm wondering what type of payload will this have? I'm hoping that it will have the user email, because then I will want to do an operation to our Supabase Postgres database and find the user. So you can see the users here. Maybe I shouldn't be showing people's emails. Every authenticated user has an email, and I can use the Stripe webhook payload if it has an email to say, oh, it's this user, the user with this ID. So go into the profiles table, and for the user with that ID, change the role to contributor or whatever according to the product that they've just bought. I think that's how it's gonna work, but I think we'll do this a bit later. Still, this looks quite important and we'll want to bring in the Stripe library anyway. So let's go to our terminal and npm I Stripe. npm install the Stripe library. And it's interesting, let's try catching this. Import Stripe from Stripe. Doesn't have TypeScript, does it? We'll find it later. So it's just requiring Stripe here. Is it doing anything else with like Stripe? Ah, cool. This has a header as well for us to consume. I guess that's how it understands that this event has been hit by a Stripe webhook and not something crazy, some malicious user. Import star Stripe. Let's go straight to the source. Blah, blah, blah. Ah, I see. So we need to create a client like this. And that's which part? The secret key. So new stripe, is correct? Get server only envar. We've created this to help us not leak keys. Fair enough. Why not? GitHub Copilot not quite helping, but TypeScript I think will autocomplete this. 2028, 27. And why not TypeScript through? All right, so this is now a thing. Every handler gets a request. It has a body. We can await it like this. Or maybe let's look at the docs, because things do change in SvelteLand quite a lot. Trim this. Which one is it going to be? Yes, that's the body. Maybe the one says the body. So what we want actually is no request body. Interesting. Parse it as text. Maybe that will work. For those of you keeping track at home, we are doing the Webhook stuff. Not this guy. I want this. will have to cycle these things anyway, but they are on the test environment, so I think we're gonna be fine. So sig. And for the headers, I think we are getting them in quite a few endpoints. Let's have a look. Event request headers get. That's what we want to do. It's called Stripe signature. So if we don't have either, then we say this is a bad request. Bad request. If we do have them, then we have the event here, and I guess just console log it. This one is claiming that event has a type. Cool. So we have this webhook. Don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. Just want to do something here. Not warning or erroring out because someone can abuse this and just hit bad events. All right, so this is still quite unhappy. So maybe return. And here in the implement here part, I suppose would be going into the user repo and then we'll create a new update user version, update user role. We'll be getting, I suppose, from this payload that this user with this email has bought this type of subscription. So we'll find who this user is and update their public facing profile to say they're now contributor or premium user according to what they just successfully bought. So those are the dreams for my webhook here. And that would be what would happen if I went through the flow in this part of the page on the right. But it seems we can test this somehow. Oof, I'll need to log in. Interesting. Awesome. Right, so that's a, I was afraid that this would happen when I clicked this. So this is an awesome thing to do. Let's take a screenshot because I may lose it. But I may try it offline later. So for now, let's add our endpoint here. We said it's gonna be copy relative path. Hey Brian, thanks for joining us. And you're recommending, let's make a SvelteKit and Playwright video. That's an awesome recommendation and definitely high in the priority list in my Trello board of video ideas. And you may notice that I don't have Playwright in this TechieCat thingy, so it could well be the next one to do, because I think I am now also favoring Playwright over Cypress, like most of the Svelte community, I think. So I'm finally on board. So I'm very happy to give it a go and try to do a video about it. Handles. So add this thing. So this seems quite secret. So I will need to cycle it after the stream goes down, which is quite fun. And the other thing I would want to try is simulate the event, which will help us debug what actually the payload that we get is here, and then use it to actually update the user information as we want it. So we know how we'll sync with our database, but we haven't confirmed it yet. I'll give it like half a check mark here, if I could. And we can move on to do the low-code way of implementing this with checkout sessions. And Brian chips in again with more praise. Thank you very much, Brian. And mentions the Vitest video as well, which has 1.4K views. And I'm so happy with that, indeed, because I mostly do the testing videos, I think, for my benefit, because I think testing is important, and trying to figure out the best ways to do meaningful tests is very dear to my heart. But I don't think the algorithm appreciates, or people actually search for that stuff a lot. But that video has been doing very well, so I'm sure I did a better job, and maybe the community now is more on it on that front, and are like, we probably are saving time in the end if we handle testing a bit better. So yeah, maybe I got a bit lucky with the timing, trying to get in Vitest a bit faster. But for sure, check out that video if you haven't. It does feature my favorite exercise, which I do sometimes use even when I'm trying to recruit, if I'm trying to challenge another engineer. So if you can get through that, you get through my hiring process, that's for sure. All right, so half check mark here. Now, checkout sessions. How does that work? We don't want a million open tags anymore. Close this, close this, close this, keep this, and open this. So, checkout sessions. What do we need to do? We'll need to somehow, we've installed this for the webhooks. I haven't installed the Stripe CLI. Maybe we'll need it to test the stuff out. I may do it later. I think that's something I'll do offline. We've created the pricing model because we created the products before at the start of the stream in the dashboard. And now we'll finally create a checkout session. But the way we are, oh no, the phone went off, which is fine because we're not actually doing code. So I will do a bit of a break there. So the way we are doing it, we have these 3 tiers. We don't have a classic e-commerce type of thing where you have like shoes and t-shirts and whatnot, and then you put them on your basket and then you decide to pay. We know what you're gonna get. You're gonna click either this button or this button, and that will mean that you're either gonna pay £5 recurring or 19.95 recurring. And that's it. So we know what you want to check out. And that's a big thing that maybe some people miss, in that in this stage, we know that we are in the checkout session. The person is ready to check out if we want. So we can do all of these things in advance. We can create the checkout session as we hit this page. So on the backend of our endpoint, it's creating a checkout session here. And the backend in our case can be a shadow endpoint, as we've seen in the SvelteKit endpoints video. So we can actually be getting this session here. But where do we pass this on? Maybe nowhere? Am I making things up? Oh, cool. You get a customer portal for free. So, alright, I've subscribed to your silly techie cat and I feel awesome, but now I want to stop paying you. What can you do? Seems pretty good. But that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is this part. So when you click this, it says define an endpoint that creates the session, but we know the session already. Guess it may be a different price. So check out session ID. What is example.com gonna be? And of course, this is why we're doing this as preparation and research of a video, because in the actual video, I won't be mulling over these things that long. And yeah, that's definitely a real key. So I will need to cycle this, and at least I am on test mode. That's something. And yeah, that's handy of Stripe, but this is the streaming generation. This should have like a call to action here. It should be like spoiler tagged, and then you have to click to actually get it. Ah, right, so the backend will have this session, and then it's gonna be like, get me there. Okay, that feels kinda reasonable. I think with elements where we're gonna embed the payment UI in our site, it's actually gonna be easier, but we may not get to it today. Alright, I think I have a plan for what we're gonna do next. Let me get another sip of iced coffee. One of the best things that happened on vacation is that I managed to rescue my shaker, so now I can have iced coffee, which is just delicious and super appropriate at considering the temperature we're getting here. But yeah, shaker. I'm not using it for cocktails, I'm using it for iced coffee, and it's absolutely delicious. Alright, so I think we will treat these guys as forms. We'll hit their big buttons, and instead of redirecting to the payment link that we've created, this is definitely MVP done. So if you've done this, and then we proceed to actually finish up our webhook, then subscriptions in your SvelteKit app, it's done. You've done it. Congratulations. But now we're trying to move one step forward, but making it a bit more custom, I guess. This, I think, will allow us. Will it allow us? I would have imagined that this would have allowed us to add a bigger payload in the checkout session and say that we have this user's email and this is it, so they can pre-fill the email and double check, I guess. They need to do less work to subscribe because they're already logged in, so you can do that as an upgrade, UX upgrade. But yeah, I don't see further benefits of doing it this way over the payment link. I guess this makes it more programmatic to add the dynamic thing of the user email, if that is even possible, or the special pricing. So if you want to have seasonal pricing or whatever for your subscription, you can do something here to set up the checkout session to have special pricing instead of having to create a special payment link elsewhere. But really, I don't see the difference. You can have a success URL and a cancel URL, which is nice, but as we've seen on the payment links, here too you can define a success URL to go to in the end. So not that much of a difference, really. The biggest difference would be when we use Stripe elements at some later point, where you can actually embed the form in your SvelteKit app. And that may be better, maybe worse. Stripe has a multi-billion team working on these things, so maybe their UI is better than mine. But it will be more on brand. It will be more integrated, I guess. Right. So we want clicking the button to behave as a form. And we've done that with the ideas page, because you can click and that counts as a form that gets handled. Let's see how that happens. So in ideas.ts, in our routes, we can handle a post request where we can see if the user is logged in, which is something that maybe we want to do. Maybe we'll only want to allow logged in users to do this because it's probably going to be easier for us. And then we get the ID of the idea they want to start from the form. And similarly, we may get the product price from the form and use that to create our checkout session. So let's see, price ID. That's a bit naughty, I guess. So another thing to look out for in the future is, am I able to get all the products that I have? I'm sure that they will have an API for this. So actually dynamically get all the products. And maybe there is a product ID, and then you pass in the product ID, and then you look up the price for the product ID and all of that. But for now, let's just try to make this work. Also, have I done a 3 or something redirect already? Yes, so this redirects already, so we may use this in the end. So what are we saying? We have the support page. We want to create a page endpoint for it, a shadow endpoint for it. Support.ts. We want to export another post handler. And then we'll want to redirect to the session URL. And we'll see what the session URL is momentarily. And this is a request handler. And let's get more inspiration from our ideas.ts. Form data, that's what we'll need. But will we want session API get products? Stripe API get products. Retrieve a product. So maybe off the cuff now, if this actually loads for me, we may get the Stripe products programmatically instead of me filling out all of this information. Hey, that's a product. And you can even add metadata to the product. That's awesome. It's pretty good. Default price. It's quite interesting that the price is like a price, I guess, resource, a price object, and you'd have to hit that one as well. And it will tell you various things, like it's this per month, or it's has a discount. It's not just $9.95 or whatever. Nothing is as simple as it could be. I wonder if it's Stripe having struggles or my internet is frying from the length of the stream. I suspect it's the internet. Right, so can I order the products? All right, Svelte endpoints time. Let's see what we've done with the ideas. Switch that. And say we actually want to get all the packages from the endpoint. Isn't that sweet? Would that work? I don't know. We don't want this. And I guess we'll want to create a product repo for this. Unfortunately or not. Stripe. Yeah, Stripe API looks like we'll need to create it at some point. But how can I get a price? Okay, am I getting in this rabbit hole for no reason? Hi, Jorge. And this is interesting because we will be getting two products and maybe we'll have like a different card for this where we just add it. But yeah, hope you enjoy this tangent because we're gonna give it a go. So we have a few repos in this project. Have it in lib, repos, ideas, and user. And should I have like a Stripe repository. I guess products. Maybe products is better. And what am I doing for the ideas? This makes sense because maybe the products I do have them in Supabase, or maybe I have them in Stripe. And this should be class, right? And we'll see what that implements at some point. But for now, let's say that we want to get all. And the Stripe docs say we want this. We want limit to see they're also active. And maybe after we get them, then we add we do some mapping, we add some metadata, who knows. But on the support endpoint, we actually want, let's get the products repo directly for now, or not. Should we put it in the locals? Maybe not. I've been jumping around the discussions as well. Hello Jorge again. So more praise on my code. Thank you very much. I have worked with people that contribute to Svelte, and it's a lot of work. And the videos are a lot of work too. I'm sure that people that don't do videos will say, oh, these videos take tons of time, and they do. And I'm not contributing to the Svelte project, and I'm saying, oh, it takes tons of time to contribute to the Svelte project. But I don't know, open source, contributing to open source is very important and very time consuming. And from the two super time consuming things, I'm choosing videos, I suppose, and doing this with you in the audience. So that's it. Maybe one day, like if I had more free time to put in projects, I would definitely be doing more in open source. But for now, I guess I'm sacrificing open source work to do the videos because I think this is important too. And maybe fewer people are doing the videos, the free videos. And many super talented people are doing work in the open source. Every time I see Rich Harris open an issue and say, now we're going to solve internationalization and this is some prior art, I'm like, wow, what's happening there? So yeah, that's pretty much it. But very flattered that you'd say that I can actually do some work there. For now, I'm just trying to make sense of the things that have already happened, and I'm trying to make them work in more real-world scenarios, because that I think that also helps. So if someone says, "Hey, Ritz, like Johnny tried to do this, and it's so wrong, it looks horrible," so can we make that a bit more easier? And I'm not good with off-the-cuff banter in that space. Anyway. What was I trying to do here? I was trying to create a new products repo. And for that, we need a Stripe client, which I guess would create it the same way we created the Stripe client here. But slightly differently. So this, cool. I've had some problems deploying to Vercel when I was trying to create Postgres clients outside of the handlers, because Vite would think that I'm not actually running this code, I guess, and therefore it wouldn't be importing the Postgres library or the Supabase library. And that's why from then on I've started creating these inside methods. And what I mean here is I want to run this here. So don't want this. And don't throw this. Right, so this returns something that we may need to parse. So it has data, yes. So our thing here, let's return the data. Is this happier? So if I don't do this, what happens? Nothing, I guess. So this is a Stripe product. Why doesn't it like it? It's a good question. It doesn't like it when it's Stripe products. But why? Alright, let's try to do some mapping in our get featured. Map Stripe product to product. You can do it, editor. You can. So this is still not happy. How come? Ah, because I didn't use it. Whoops. Map. Alright, so now the get handler is happy, which makes me think that one of these weird properties that this thing has doesn't quite work, but who knows. And we do know that we eventually want our products to look like these. So I am gonna just copy this for now, and we can make it happen later. So let's look at our products repo and define a product type, I guess. And it will have we do want the title to be string, the price to be number, maybe number, always a number, description string, features string array, and no payment link, because that's the thing. We're going to be creating the payment links. I guess we'll be using a form instead of a button with an href. So we want to map these things. I guess they have an ID too. So this should result into a product array, which means that, oops, let me hard code a few things. Of course, this doesn't return product arrays. An array of products, it returns a single product. And this price is 5. Jorge asks, after all this TypeScript craziness, is there a TypeScript course that I recommend to do? And the answer is not really. Sorry, I haven't kept up to date with what's out there. I always recommend try to do a real project with TypeScript on and see what happens. But I think the TypeScript site itself would have the fundamentals, like how do you define a type with the colons, the syntax, I guess. But sorry, I don't have anything better for you. The big things to understand is defining types, which is almost the same as defining interfaces. So we could have almost the same way defined instead of a type an interface there. The syntax is slightly different. But there is a meaningless discussion of which one is better or not. Almost as meaningless as colons versus semicolons. No semicolons or semicolons. Yeah, but the answer is obviously no semicolons. But I kid. I have opted out of those two very similar things to just define objects as type, like with this syntax. JavaScript has objects. In TypeScript, you can specify the attributes these objects have by defining a type, like so. And arguments in a method, for example, you can define, oh, product is actually a stripe product, or product is a string, or product is whatever else. But yeah, this is definitely not the TypeScript course that you asked for, me rambling about some TypeScript syntax stuff. I do think you can get far if you try project with TypeScript flag on, and looking at the TypeScript docs at the start of them, just where they say what is a type, what is an interface, and how do you declare that something is a string or a number or a boolean. If you can do these, I think you can kind of get there. There are other things like this defines features to be an array of strings, which is quite fun because it's like a bit suspenseful. It's like features is a string array, not just a string. You can also define this as array string if you don't like the surprise. But anyway, TypeScript. I do think it helps if you write in TypeScript. I have seen companies reject candidates or prefer candidates that do know TypeScript, reject candidates that don't know TypeScript anymore. So give it a try. Like, it's the best course is actually trying it out in a real product, and you will learn. Refactoring styles after using Tailwind. Is it hard? Brian asks. I'm not sure what you mean, but I guess I can show anywhere. I have this Tailwind config. If I were to say that that I want my primary color to be Ruby, then this would crash. Great. Is Ruby not a real thing? DL is a real thing. Right, so if I were to say that I want fuchsia, you know, everything's refactored. Now it's like fuchsia, everything's like Ruby, so that did the same problem again. That's hilarious. Clearly, this stream is ran for too long. So you can refactor your colors and stuff quite easily with Tailwind. But I am using a mix of using CSS variables with Tailwind, which makes things a bit easier to reskin or restyle. But if you're talking about, I want this card to look different now, how do I do that with Tailwind? It's the same as if you weren't using Tailwind, if you were using inline styles or styled components or whatever else. In SvelteLand, like ReactLand or ViewLand, you create the components, you have this one place that you use everywhere, you have the support tier card or the big button or whatever, and then you refactor that one component. So regardless if your refactoring means you'll be changing the Tailwind classes, or it means you'll be changing the style tags or whatever else, it's the same. In the one place, you just change the component. So I don't think it's that different to refactor Tailwind components from anything else. Bjorn, Albert has a suggestion. Calling me a SvelteKit specialist, thank you very much. Bjorn has a suggestion on Traverse Media. I haven't checked them out, but I'm sure they're gonna be good. I think the link didn't go through, maybe the spam filter caught it. But I guess Google it and you may get there. And also says that if you Java, you can learn TypeScript by doing a project. I don't have wide enough monitors anymore to do Java, so I haven't done it in a while. Like, I cannot fit my class names, which is of course a joke. I am using like the implements app interface here, so it's getting quite wide. All right, so fun discussions all around. What were we doing? We're changing the color of the whole app, but we don't want to keep the fuchsia in the end. And we were scrambling to get the products live from Stripe. So let's see if we can do that. I hope to store the titles, to extract the titles from somewhere from Stripe, but for now I've hard-coded it just to see if we've made it work or not. And we have our get endpoint, and it's returning products here, which means that in our sibling route, let's say that now we export const products, which will be magically filled by Stripe. by our shadow endpoint. Did I export this from the repo? Let's export it. And then our tiers, let's say they are our hard-coded free tier plus the products that we got. And of course, this is should be let because we're going to be using it as a component magic page component property. Cool. And maybe this we can derive that our tiers are going to be the hard-coded component plus all the products that we have. And now, let's see if that worked. Failed to load data. It happens. So what did we get? Required is not defined. Oh no. Somehow it worked. Right, so it seems like our repo worked, but we've hard-coded all of this somewhere. Did I log what we're getting? No, I didn't, but default price is this. It has a description, which is cool. So this proves that we're actually getting it from Stripe, which is quite cool. What else can we quickly get? Name, great. Maybe name is a better name for it. Name is a better name. And we'll see about getting the features and the price soon. But it does mean we need to refactor this name. And similarly, name. Name. So look, we are getting it live from the Stripe API and we need to get the price next. I did forget to do a break, so before we do our final one, we'll take a community break again. Most of all, coffee break. So Jorge asks, what do you think about fetching data in server-side rendering? Could be a problem for page load. Is it better to do front-end fetch? So that's another one where it depends, but usually servers, when they are fetching data from other servers, so backend to backend operations, are almost always faster than the user fetching data from a server. And that's a big thing of, a big selling point of GraphQL as well. They were claiming that, oh, we're fetching all the data backend to backend, so it's super fast. And you cannot solve for the user having a bad device that may be getting more data than it actually needs to render and then trying to render quite a lot of data. But you can optimize your backend, your server operations by caching. So even if your server needs to do a lot of work to display some data, you can hit a cast. You can have this pre-rendered by a cast, and that's super fast. Nothing will ever be faster than hitting a cast response. And that's something that just fetching data from client side cannot solve as much. You can cast data on the front end as well, but for the first user getting there, it's harder to solve like that. So I do think with less effort, server-side rendering can be much faster and at scale than front-end client-side fetching stuff. But the first render can be slower if you didn't hit your cast, if you have like user customizable content. So if the user is logged in and they get different ideas or different products shown to them, personalized content, then you may want to consider the server doesn't need to do all of that work. It's below the fold anyway, so it's below what the user would initially see. So maybe I don't want to fetch the data after the first render. I want to fetch it client side. But as I mentioned before, no silver bullet for that one. I suspect usually server side will get you more of the way there, easier to make it faster. But you can hide a lot of things by delegating to the front end to say, all right, this content for below the fold, I'm only going to fetch it after the first render because the user ain't going to see it till a little while later. That's what I think. What are your thoughts? Before I forget, I will go back to sharing my screen and go to the agenda, because I do think we've gotten a bit off the rails. It's something that I forgot. So Haptic there, we are still trying to do the checkout sections. We have talked about, we have used environment variables already. So there is this method that I've created after a comment from a lovely viewer that helps us get server-only environment variables, which may help us keep the actually secret environment variables secret. So for things that only the server should be able to see, that no matter if you're doing server-side rendering or like the hybrid rendering that SvelteKit sometimes does, and by that I mean if a user first hits your site, first visits a URL, first goes to the support page, that's going to be server-side rendered. The load method are going to happen on the backend, so nothing gets leaked. But when they keep navigating afterwards, it could be that the load methods that you've defined in your components, they happen on the client. So if in your load method you've specified a secret key, then it's going to get leaked, even though you say that it's secret. So for that, we are separating the actually secret environment variables by not prefixing them with a vit underscore prefix, by not prefixing them with vit underscore. And that's why we can actually get the stripe secret key environment variable, even though it's not prefixed by vit. So, of course, since this is an endpoint handler, this would never get leaked. Only the backend runs this, and so long as we don't put that in the response, this will not get leaked. And so long as I don't stream my striped dashboard with which has the key exposed. But that's by the by, this will not get leaked. But this ensures that if I'm copy pasting around the app and I try to do the same thing in like a load method, this method will crash and say, you're trying to run this on the browser, you shouldn't, this is bad. So this is our saving grace there. And we haven't used it yet because we are not using anything front-end from Stripe just yet, and maybe not in this streaming episode. But in other episodes, we have used environment variables like the Supabase URL and the Supabase anon key. And for that, we use them via vit. The vit puts them inside import.meta.env, and it will only put those environment variables there if they are prefixed with vit underscore. So if at one point we want to use the Stripe public key, then we need to specify with_stripe public key and bring it in using import.meta.env, not our special method that we've created to safeguard against leaking our keys. Cool, glad I went over that. I'll give it a check mark. And custom code with elements, that would be the next stage where we embed the checkout Stripe iframe inside their app and they don't have to go into a different app to finish checking out. I don't think we'll get to it because I'm already starting to get lower energy and ramble more. And similarly, we won't get to the webhook to handle cancellations, but we touched upon this and we configured Stripe to actually hit a webhook that we started to scaffold, and we'd probably copy-paste the logic we end up doing there to handle the cancellations at some point. Still, I think we made it quite far. And bonus thing that we've started doing is getting the products from Stripe API, which maybe we want to do, maybe not. I'm not sure. There is nothing wrong with hard coding like 2 products. Maybe you want to keep them in your Supabase database. I don't really know, but it does ensure at least that if you switch from your Stripe test environment to your product environment and you haven't actually set up the products, then nothing will break. Because if you didn't set up your products beforehand, this will be empty. So it's not like someone will see this, then click, then it will crash, because that would be very embarrassing. You don't want that, especially if it's a more serious app. All right, so I think with that, we're ready for our final focus noodle. A little Pomodoro thingy that I have going on. It's quite cute. Let's go. What are we doing? We're finishing up getting the products from the Stripe API. I'm still hard coding quite a few things, and it seems the next important one is getting the price. So if anyone knows, let me know as well. But it feels like I need to do another API call there. So let's see the API reference. So I can't just get prices for product, but it does have a default price there. So I guess I will need to ask for it. Price. I'm just reading inside my head to see, all right, I can get the price by hitting this endpoint. Great. Can I request this eagerly? No. Can I get many prices? Oof, required. Interesting. Oh, I don't want to create price. I want can I give IDs here? Guess not. Right, lookup keys. This looks promising. Because this is the product. Is that the product ID or the lookup key? Not sure. Yeah, it's the ID. Oh, expand request parameter. This is it. This is it, fam. We got it. So in this hidden thing, expand request parameter. Expand. Awesome. expand. Oh, Stripe, is there anything you don't do? So default price expandable. All right, I think this is gonna work. So expandable. Expandable, where did we see this? Expand this. Requesting expand and how does that work? Default price? Maybe? Is it data default price? Maybe? We'll find out. And let's see the price object. Unit amount, and don't forget, it is times 1000, times 100, it's in cents. It's quite interesting. Right, so default price, I'm claiming this will expand it, which means that mapping this product price, default price, how can I tell this is instance of? Stripe.price. It's a problem. Looks about right. Only set if billing scheme is per unit. So yeah, I think that error says that I need to do data dot. Yeah, that would have been one of the two ways to do it. Oh my god, it worked. Oh my goodness. So is this legal? Probably not. This may be null or undefined. Which part? Yes. All right. Maybe price 0 would make things better. I think so. Right, we're dynamically getting the prices in our support page. This should be 0, right? Makes more sense. And then the support tier card. If price, yeah, that stays the same. Keep things easier. So the question is, how do I add metadata to a product? Just gonna say what are key value pairs. Sorry, your user's full name. What? Related video, metadata. Alright, so the question is, can I add metadata? Edit metadata. Can I make metadata an object? Can I make it an array? So metadata. Yeah, so the values up to 5 characters long makes me think that these are strings. Cross sales. Like if you bought this, buy this. Buy more. Buy more. Oh, how do I ensure the ordering of these things? Who knows? Gonna give it a try and see if it works. Fair enough. Edit metadata. All right, so we've got 2 metadata keys. And now I can say so it's on me to ensure that I filled those in. Here we are. dynamic. So the ordering has changed, which is unfortunate. Do I want to order them by price? Is there an order by? Can I order by price? It's not there. Where are we? Maybe sort. Maybe not. Right, so after we've done this, let's do another loop by price. Oh yeah, sorry. Here. Sort it here, and we're done. Now we're sorted. From cheaper to more expensive. Pretty cool. So, as far as cards are concerned, everything works. What doesn't work anymore is that we click and nothing happens because we don't have the payment links. Payment links don't work, but we won't be using payment links anymore. We'll be using checkout sessions. And let's refresh our... do we need this? Oh god, the price ID. The price ID, that's insane. Ah, it says only do this then. Right, so we've created the product. Checkout session, create, mode subscription, great. Line items, can I add the ID of the item? Like the product ID? Yeah, that feels better. So hopefully the music sounds cool, because I am thinking inside my head. I'm trying to find out, can I just give a product ID? I guess I need to give a price ID. So, I guess it makes sense, because you don't know if they're using the other price. But can't they fudge this? I guess they can only fudge it in prices I have created, so maybe not the biggest deal. Since I'm doing it on the backend, I can make it up. I can look it up afterwards. I can look it up afterwards. So do I want to look it up on the backend? Is that better? Maybe not, maybe yes. Let's do it the way they say on the docs. Maybe they have a reasoning for that. So, yeah. So maybe a price is an object that has an ID, has a value. So here, the value is going to be this, and the ID. Haven't we confirmed? Ah, null is also an object. Whoops. That's why I wanted to do instance of Stripe price, but it didn't want to let me have it, unfortunately. Oh well. So ID value, and what's the problem there? All right, null check for us, null checks for everyone. Good. Object per month. I love objects per month pricing. So price for this thing is null. No payment link. And none of this. And here we want to say the price is a bit different. Where do you use the price? The price. Price for null. And here, product price for null. So here it's going to be price value. Price is back. But our sorting fails. That's why tests are important, fellas. TypeScript would have also got this, which is good to know. Not using this, maybe. All right, so let's confirm my sorting works. Yep, looks like it works. If A is bigger, then this is positive, so it goes to the end. If this is undefined, it's kind of free, so I wanted to go before. Perfect case for a test. No joke. Cool. So will we manage to do the big thing, which is the form? So not payment link, if price, then a form, and I want a big button. And this is telling me can I remember this? To have a hidden input here. Which should be fine. So value is 5. That's incorrect. We want ID. Last focus noodle. I think we'll manage to get through it after a quick break. So what were we looking at? We're trying to see, does this have the hidden price ID? It does. This is great news. We'll have a look at how we've done forms before and hopefully hit this post endpoint. We ain't gonna be getting this. We'll be getting something else and redirecting to the location we want, which we'll see where it is in just a moment. I guess we want the Stripe client there. And yeah, I guess I should try to create the Stripe handler outside. See what happens. And back to there. I'm gonna reuse the client. That's why I wanna here. Will I need the product repo? Probably not. But I am gonna support tier card. Let's call it price ID. More standard for forms, less standard for JavaScript, but this is kind of more HTML. Right, so the idea is we click this. This is now a form. It's gonna hit our post handler here after we've given the instruction of the form to actually hit this endpoint, and then do some magic stuff with Stripe, redirect to the Stripe flow, I suppose, the checkout flow, and then get redirected back to our app. Will it work? Who knows, but it's how we're gonna finish the episode. And it looks like we've been going strong for almost 3 hours. Gonna hit 3 hours, the longest stream I've ever done, which is quite cool. So, let's see. So, price ID, we get it from the form we've submitted. And then we have a Stripe session, Stripe checkout session. I guess if no price ID, This should be string. What have they changed now? Did I mess it up? Interesting. Interesting. I think this still works. So no price ID, or this is not string. I'm hoping this is going to be a string, despite what this says it may be. Ah, right. It's either a file or a string, and it's not a file input. We know that it's going to be a string. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. Finally, we have this. We can give it to Stripe. Have removed the quantity. It's not metered billing. But hey. Can I say that they cannot change quantity? Who knows? So it's saying don't change this. So the success URL should be the current URL. Should the form be giving us this, or to come back? Am I doing redirect URLs elsewhere? Am I doing redirect URLs elsewhere? Probably. So I'm doing it for the login flow. Do I want this to be part of the form? Probably. Did we say the URL is from somewhere? I think SvelteKit handlers do have the URL. Like something's coming to me. URL. Endpoints. There may be a faster way to do this. So forget this. That's great. Is origin so this is a URL, right? Yes. This is a URL. Origin, I think that may be fine. So one more check. Cool. Interesting as well. Let's try it again. Right, so even though I'm on the about, the origin is the other thing. Cool. It makes me think that so we'll get somewhere. Does it have the trailing slash? No. Yeah, no, we're almost done, but you may have come just at the right time for something cool to happen. So we can get to this endpoint with a checkout session ID, and then what do we do? I don't know. I think I'll figure that out offline, but I'm excited to see whether all of this works. You get the session ID, and then you can say you can customize that page. All right. And say in case of canceling, I just want them to come to the support page with no extra fanfare. And the session all right, so what am I claiming here? I'm claiming that these buttons are now inside forms that have a hidden price ID input. I'm gonna get this hidden price ID input and use it, send it to Stripe, use the Stripe library to create a checkout session subscription for the item with the price ID given. One of those, and then on success, they're gonna get to the support success page. On cancel, they're gonna gonna go back to this page. Maybe we can show like a small message here, but that's the buy. So you can have like a little URL param and show notifications like, what went wrong? Try again, please. But this doesn't like it, and I suspect it's because this can be string or null. If no session URL, something went wrong on our side, I think. But if yes, this should redirect us back. And let's see another place where we do logins and forms. We are doing forms here. And did it submit? Try it again. It's a button inside the form, so I assume that it would actually pass, but no. Action support post. So first question, do we make it here? We are posting. Click again. Great. And try catch this, I guess. And of course, all of this I don't want it here. All right, it's the environment variables. What is it? We do make it here. What did we fail to read from the Stripe docs? Is it just that we're not redirecting? Could it be? Yeah. Looks good to me. It is that we're not redirecting. We must be getting, if I inspect the network request, a 303, but we're just not following it. And it could be because I'm using the enhanced form, which maybe I shouldn't. Right, so when we use the enhanced form, we do hijack what happens in the regular form, so maybe that's our problem. So let's stop using it. And see if we were to do like regular form action, would it actually work? Oh my god. Goodness. Right, so before we were using enhanced form, which is a library that the bigger Svelte app will create, has, and have stolen, which allows you to hijack the normal form behavior if JavaScript is enabled. So you can still submit forms normally, but you can also hijack it with JavaScript and make the experience a bit better. But in this case, we don't want to make the experience better. We want to talk to the server, and when it's back, we want to respect what the server said, which is redirect. I guess we could do like a loading spinner if it's slow, and then have the server tell us redirect there and follow that through, but that's by the by. It seems we made it through. Question is, where do we get back? Payment method types. I think I could also add this to say like automatic or something like that, but I think that's what it assumes by default. So the problem was what I was doing with the form. I was trying to be too clever, I guess, there. So let's see, Stripe payment cards for testing. You cannot use these to buy all the things you want. And they claim these are the US ones, but I think it will work. This has to be any date in the future. This has to be any CCV. Let's say, you guys know my legal name. Let's leave Spain and see what happens. So the cool thing with Stripe, with the test environment, I think you can do more things there. But it will give you payment options according to the locale where you're running this form, which is quite cool. And it is giving me Google Pay because I have the Google Chrome option, and when I had Android like 8 years ago, I had set up Google Pay, even though now I have Apple Pay. Maybe if I open it on Safari, it will show that. Anyway, no thanks. Looks like great. So it is a bit sad that we end on a page we don't have, but we did make it back to our redirect URL correctly on localhost. The support success, it's just that we don't have this route. And if we really wanted, like the easy way would be that this route is the one that can also inspect the session ID that you get, inspect that it is actually a legit session ID, and then amend the user information and say, all right, this user is now a contributor, this user is something. Instead of doing webhooks. But webhooks is the most ironclad, secure way to do it. And just to not have this. Maybe this is better. So that can be a place where I add a GIF or something. GIF. So that's implementation for later. And I did just decide that it's probably best if we namespace this. We do like this, support/success. So let's pretend that we made it back to here with the session ID. And we can actually use the session ID parameter here, get the URL query param, to verify this is a real session that was fulfilled. So this user with this email, we need to upgrade them. Maybe easier than setting up webhooks. We saw how we did that, but a bit less ironclad. I don't think you'd have problems so long as you verify that this session is correct. Maybe an easier way to do it. I'm not sure, but that's something I will try at a later date. This stream has been super fun. I will try to clean things up a little bit, but not too much, and get this online and pick it up on the next streams. Of course, keep suggesting what you'd like to see me stream. I do think Stripe is something that lots of people, well, tons of people use, and lots of people have requested me cover specifically. And I think there are quite a few gotchas, but quite pleasant overall. So it may make it into a real full-fledged video one day. I think that may be the next one, but of course, let me know what you'd like to see. The last one, the endpoints one, has been was quite a long one, but it's been a while since that one, so maybe another long one is in order. I'll switch back to the face cam, which is the same cam, just the crop is a bit less, just to ask for any more lingering questions. Bjorn is asking, how often do I stream? I will keep a schedule of streaming every Friday. I may vary the time just to enable other people to watch more easily, but every Friday I should be here. And sometimes if I get inspired on a particular day, maybe like, oh, I want to check this out now, and I think I can be coherent enough in what I'm trying to do to actually make it to a stream. That's what happened, I think, on before the endpoints video, that I think I knew kinda how endpoints and shadow endpoints worked, but I wanted to play around with them a bit more, did it live, and the stream, I think, went quite well. So that may happen if I feel particularly inspired. Bonus streams, but standard streams every Friday for sure. And yeah, keep suggesting and commenting what you want to see. I have a friend that wants to do a different idea, so it could be a brand new SvelteKit app as well. It could be a Next.js app, or maybe you get to see me try out Vue once again, Next.js, because internationalization has been asked, and definitely Next.js or Vue Next is the way to go, and not SvelteKit at the moment, if that's super important to you. Band.js, I have not read it, I don't think. I may have seen it, but is it a new like JavaScript framework that's like blazing fast, or it's redefining the industry? There are quite a few of those popping up, so, and I haven't kept up to date. So I'll try to have a look at that one as well. Another thing that I'd like to have more of a look at that's framework agnostic is Motion 1, which is animations library that I think is from the people that made Framer Motion, that was mostly aimed to React, and this is more of an open. If you're using JavaScript in your framework, you can use this one to have cool animations. That's something that I'd like to have a look as well. All right, this has been great. Feel free to reach out. I always appreciate comments, and I always want to do videos that are helpful to you. So if you tell me what you want to see, I'll be more on point on covering things that you like. And yeah, super fast. I will Google. I guess I'm not showing my screen, so I can more freely Google. Ah, yes, it's a fast all-in-one JavaScript runtime. And bunnies. Right? We're all about cats here, not bunnies. I'm gonna have a look. All right, so thanks a bunch for everyone watching. Special thanks to everyone participating in the chat and keeping me company. It's been a pleasure. Have a lovely day, have a lovely weekend, have a lovely life. See you around.